Welcome to the first video in this Forex trading training series. This series of videos is brought to you by forexminute.com, and this is video 1, Characteristics of Price Behaviour. There are a number of things to note before we continue with this course. First of all, this is video 1 of a series of videos that will be broadcast by forexminute.com. The series is aimed at using technical analysis to trade the Forex markets. As the course develops, it is intended to progress from basic to advanced training. Each video acts as a stepping stone to the next video. So it's imperative that each video is watched and that you don't just skip to the advanced training nearer the end of this series. The course will include personal insights by myself, a professional Forex trader, and it is assumed that viewers have at least a basic knowledge of Forex or financial markets. We're going to start off this series by looking at characteristics of price. In financial market, price can move in 3 general directions: an upwards direction, a downwards direction, and a sideways direction. But price doesn't move in a straight incline. When price moves downwards, it doesn't move in a straight decline. When price moves sideways, it doesn't move in this dead straight sideways direction. Instead, when price moves in an upwards direction, a downwards direction, or a sideways direction, price tends to behave certain ways. Let's look at how price behaves, or the characteristic of price, as it moves in an upwards direction. You'll notice that when price moves in an upwards direction, price forms a stepping motion in financial markets, where price moves forward and back repeatedly, but moving in a general upwards direction. When price moves in a general upwards direction and creates this stepping or pyramid formation, we refer to this as an uptrend. When price moves in a general downwards direction, price can once again create this stepping or pyramid formation in financial markets, but this time the general direction is down. Price repeatedly moves up and down, but the general direction of price is downwards. This is referred to as a downtrend. But there is more to uptrends and downtrends than just this stepping motion. This stepping motion has key characteristics that helps us to identify if price is in an uptrend or a downtrend. Let's go back to the uptrend illustration. This stepping motion or pyramid formation is created by price moving up and down. When price moves up, we refer to this as a push. When price moves down, we refer to this as the pullback. So an uptrend is a series of pushes and pullbacks. Push, pullback, push, pullback. Every time price pushes and creates a pullback, we refer to this change of price direction as a high. When a pullback comes to an end and price goes for another push, we refer to this change in price direction as a low. So we have a high, and a high, a low, and a low. The main characteristic of an uptrend is a series of higher highs and higher lows. We have a high. Our next high is higher than the previous high. Our third high is higher than our previous high. We have a low. Our second low is higher than our first low. And that is the main characteristic of an uptrend, a series of higher highs and higher lows. A downtrend is very similar. With a downtrend, we have a series of up and down movements that go in a general downwards direction. When price moves down in the direction of the trend, this is labelled a push. When price moves in the upwards direction against the downwards trend, this is referred to as a pullback. Push, pullback, push, pullback, push, pullback. Sometimes these pushes and pullbacks can be referred to as rallies and retracements. Just as an uptrend, when we come to the end of a push or the end of a pullback, these areas are marked as highs and lows. A high is the end of a pullback and the start of a push. A low is the end of a push and the start of a pullback. We have one high here and another high here. We have three lows, 1, 2, 3. The main characteristic of a downtrend is a series of lower lows and lower highs. We have a low and a high. Our second low is lower than our first low. Our second high is lower than our first high. Our third low is lower than our second low. To demonstrate uptrends and downtrends further, let's look at uptrends and downtrends on real-life price charts. This is an hourly chart of the Great British Pound against the US dollar, or GBP USD. On our chart, we have a clear uptrend. Price started down here, to the left of our chart, and ended a lot higher up here. So price has moved in an upwards direction. But let's look at the pattern or formation price has created as it's moved from here to here. We have a push, a pullback, a push, a pullback, a push, a pullback, a push, a pullback, a larger push, a pullback, and another larger push. Price is uptrending. We have a series of pushes and pullbacks which have created highs and lows. As mentioned in the slides, the main characteristic of an uptrend is higher highs and higher lows. Here's our first low, here's our first high. Our second low is higher than our first low. Our second high is higher than our first high. Our next low is higher again. Our next high is higher again, and this continues. Hence we have an uptrend. Let's look at a downtrend on this same chart, the pound against the dollar hourly chart. Price started up here and ended down here, so price has moved in a general downwards direction. Once again, let's look at the pattern that price has created as it's moved from up here to down here. Price has pushed, it's pulled back, it's pushed, it's pulled back, it's gone for a very large push, it's pulled back, it's pushed, it's pulled back, and it's pushed. Once again, we have a series of highs and lows created by pushes and pullbacks. Here are our highs, and here are our lows. The key characteristic to a downtrend is lower lows and lower highs. Here's our first low, here's our first high. Our second low is lower than our first low. Our second high is lower than our first high. And this continues. Hence we have a downtrend. In future videos I will show you why this is of benefit and how knowing this characteristic of price can help us to profit from financial markets. To summarize what I have taught in this video, price trends, it uptrends and it downtrends. Trends have a series of pushes or rallies and pullbacks or retracements. The characteristics of an uptrend are higher highs and higher lows. The characteristics of a downtrend are lower lows and lower highs. In our next video, I will demonstrate the characteristics that price creates when it moves in a sideways direction. Thank you for watching this video. Please continue watching the videos in this course. The course is brought to you by forexminute.com, which provides market analysis, training material, broker reviews and more.